Hey guys, how you doing? I just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about having a plan, right? Having a plan in your training regime. Some of the biggest mistakes that I might find or that I hear from students is that um, we all go to the range and you don't have a plan in place. So you're going to go, you have an active lifestyle, go to the gym, you got a job, and one of the last things on your mind is going to the range. So you haven't been for a while, so you decide, you know what, I really need to go. So you do decide to go. You get a box of 50 rounds and you get a target and you go out there, and before you know it, 50 rounds is gone and you have 50 holes in a piece of cardboard or a target and you're good to go, right? You get to check that box off that, hey, I haven't trained in a while, so good to go. But here's the thing, did you really train? Um, and what I'm trying to get at is if you don't have a map or a destination, right, you don't know where you're going. And you really can't track your progress as if you're making it, or if you're even proceeding in towards your destination. So it's like the equivalent going to the range and not having a plan is like the same thing as getting in your car and not really knowing where you're going and just driving and you're just going to make it up along the way. You wouldn't do that because that would waste your time and your gas and it would just be a stupid thing to do. Okay, well, we all fall for this if we're not careful, including myself. If we go to the range without a plan, you know, get a box of 50 rounds, and before you know it, it's gone. It's done. And you're no better off than where you were before. And it's another 2.5, 3 months before you get back to the range. I get it. We're all busy. Okay, not a lot of us have the opportunity to be able to step out in our backyard and shoot. All right, for those of you guys who do, awesome. I'm jealous. I don't even have that opportunity, right? Legally, of course, right? But for most of us, the majority, we need to go ahead and utilize an indoor range. So by doing so, you're paying a range fee. You got to go ahead and either, buy their ammo or bring your own ammo, et cetera, et cetera. You got to book that range time and reserve that slot. All of this costs money. So when you're doing it, you're kind of stressed to the max. I understand, all right? So no hard feelings there. But if you're not careful, all right, you need to make sure that you don't get in that pitfall of just going out there and blowing through 50 rounds, all right, or 100 or whatever, okay? Um, it's really easy to go ahead and have a plan in place. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but just have something in place so that you are constantly improving. Um, so when I go to the range, I want to have something written down. And even if it's not written down, it's something that I know that I'm going to go ahead and do. Because you would do the same thing as if you went to the gym, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're going to have this, this, and this, these exercises, which is your overall end goal is I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to gain 10 pounds, or I want to go ahead and make sure that by the end of the summer, I could take my shirt off and not laugh, right? So it's the same thing in the firearms world. And it's almost more important. Actually, it is more important, so I'm sorry. Um, but firearms usage and shooting is a perishable skill, and if you don't use it, you're going to lose it over time, right? Some faster than others. So the thing that I like to do is every time I go to the range, all right, I will always start with the same exercise. All right, I call it stretching, but a lot of people will hear it as called the one hole, one shot drill. All right. So basically what you're going to be doing is I will take an entire magazine, my very first magazine, and I will commit my first magazine to this drill. Because what this drill does is it makes you focus on the basics, right? It makes you focus on your breathing, sight picture, sight alignment, trigger control. Every single core component of firearms, it makes you focus on, right? And you don't stray away from these basics no matter what kind of training you're doing. So no matter how advanced we get in that training day, we always start with this exercise. Same thing with myself. So the very first magazine, I'm going to commit to that, all right, regardless. And you could do this too if you want, or you can have your own training regime. No worries, right? I'm just kind of sharing what works for me. So what this drill is you go get a blank piece of paper or just use the cardboard, whatever, right? So let's say you have a 15 round magazine. 15 rounds in there, you're good to go. This is slow and steady and basic, and that's it, right? So you aim for what you perceive as the middle of that target, and slow, steady, squeeze, bang, right? Slow and steady. Now that one hole that's there, that is now your point of aim. So the remainder of that magazine, so the next 14 rounds or however many you have, is theoretically, in a perfect world, would all go through that exact same hole if you shot the same way every time. So the goal is to have that hole as small as you could possibly make it, because you're focusing on that sight picture, sight alignment, trigger control, breathing, everything, right? This is done from about 3 to 5 feet away, and it doesn't change from there, all right? So the rest of that magazine, slow, steady, bang, slow, steady, bang. If it takes you 5 minutes to get through one magazine, so be it, right? That's not the goal. The speed isn't the goal, all right? The consistency is the goal. Because from here, that basic exercise, no matter what we throw at you, nothing veers from the basics. So let's say I push this target back to 50 feet. What changes? Nothing, right? Nothing changes. My breathing doesn't change. My grip doesn't change. My trigger control doesn't change. Nothing changes from the basics, right? So now, let's say I'm going to go ahead and transition to my weak hand. Again, nothing changes from the basics. Let's say it's low light defensive situation. There's no light. What changes? Nothing, right? Let's say that we're now kneeling. We're on our back. We're prone, whatever. Nothing changes, right? So this is an exercise that you could do at the very beginning, or if you've been training through a long day, all right, through some advanced concepts, and you're starting to get shooter's fatigue, then this is something that you want to go ahead and bring and come back to it. All right, let's okay, guys, let's go ahead and take a break. Go ahead and stretch for another magazine. All right, let's shake off that shooter's fatigue. Let's make you get focused back on the basics, and let's go ahead and proceed from there. So that's what I start off with. Now, whatever you finish with throughout the training exercise, that's up to you, right? But make sure that you go and you have a plan. So like, okay, well, so for one magazine, I'm going to stretch. After that one magazine, I'm going to go ahead and focus on both eye shooting, right? If you're one of those one-eyed shooters, you want to go ahead and focus on, I'm shooting with one eye, all right? Or both eyes, I'm sorry. And then, okay, so for another magazine after that, I want to focus with my weak hand, okay? Keep doing that. Keep mixing it up, and make sure you have a plan so that when you go to the range, you don't blow through 50 rounds at 30 feet away, taking 15 or 20 minutes. Whoop-de-doo, you didn't really do anything. But doing it this way, you're consistently, all right, you could check off those little mile markers as you're reaching your destination. So that's pretty much what this is for. If you guys have any other training regimes that you guys like to stick to, hey, go ahead and comment below. I really want to go ahead and know, and maybe some people who are watching this video, they've got something to add or they've got something to take away. We all have something to learn from each other, myself included, okay? I'm always on a consistent learning basis, all right? I'm never happy with where I'm at, all right? And you shouldn't be, all right? You should always consistently strive to improve yourself. Strive to keep going, all right? If you are perfect, you're wrong, okay? It's a revolving door, and it's a constantly evolving business and world. The firearms industry is in defensive tactics and things like that, okay? What we used a year ago is not what's being taught now, and it just keeps going and going and going. So if something works for you, or if you found out a really cool way or a really cool trick or something else like that, or some sort of training regime that you like, then again, just let everyone know below, and we can go ahead and kind of share from there, all right? I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And again, stay safe and train smart. All right? See ya.